Are you ready for our October garden tour?
Hi, and welcome to the Garden Fix. I'm Rob, and I'm in Zone 6B, Western Pennsylvania. Today, we're going to do an October garden tour. I'm going to take you around the garden and show you everything that's looking good and maybe not looking so good. So let's get started. All right, so let's start this video near our little pond that we put in and talk about some of the plants that are looking pretty good around here. So over here, we have our Temple of Bloom 7 sunflower. And it is about 4 feet tall right now. It gets about 10 feet tall and about 8 feet wide. And it is in its stage now where the white flowers have fallen off and it develops these really pretty pinkish red bracts that'll last until the end of fall. Next to it, we have our giant sunflower here. And as you can see, it's pretty much spent. Most of the time you can look out here and you'll see goldfinches on here taking the sunflower seeds from it and having a good time. I'm going to leave it up because last year I was really surprised when these sunflower leaves turned a dark red. I'm hopeful the same thing's going to happen this year. We'll see. As we move back here, we start getting into the area where we have some hardy mums, and you can see these beautiful mums are in full bloom. And look how pretty they are with their pink and yellow center. Now, that's the thing about mums. Sometimes they're on the borderline of being hardy. And I'm one of those guys who will like to try to see if they'll come back. And I found these the other day in the store and I couldn't pass them up. They are red and they have a yellow center. And I put them right here. And we will see if they come back next year. They're so pretty. Now, before we go any further, since we are talking about annuals, I want to talk about the celosia that I bought too. We put celosia all over the place in this garden because I just love them. And this one I thought was really cool. Look at the red on that. This looks like a giant cauliflower head. Amazing. So next to me, we have our little baby Joe pie over here. And I don't know if you remember, I cut this back and when the blooms were spent. And as you can see, it is going to have another round of blooms. And I don't know how exciting they'll be, but it does look like they're going to be pretty successful here in coming back. And that should be really nice because this is pretty and is a wonderful pollinator attractor. Now, back here in the corner is one of our prized possessions this year. And this is fantastic. This is our autumn gold helianthus or willow leaf sunflower. Look at all the flower buds on this. I mean, what you see right now, it's hard to see probably with the camera, but what you see right now are all the blooms, but under each one of these are another 20 or so. And this is going to keep on blooming until the first hard frost. So I think we may have to get another one of these. This is really a beautiful plant. And to be honest with you, throughout most of the summer, this looked like a really nice shrub too. So the foliage is very nice on this and it's very dense and compact. And what a great plant for fall. Okay, let's head around the corner. Okay, so as we come around the corner here, one of the first things you see are these quinces that we have, and these were called double take quinces, and they weren't so much double take this year. They only flowered in early spring, and that was it. They were one of the first things to flower, but I thought we were going to get a second round of them, and I'm not sure why. Maybe they're not getting enough sunlight over here, but they still look nice. The foliage is nice on them. But yeah, kind of a little bit of a letdown there. As you can see through here, around our water feature, we also have some hardy mums that are going to make this little area look really nice. And right across the road over here are some more. So that's going to be a pretty nice little section as you come back through here. To my left here, we have a yellow twig dogwood. Actually, we have two of them. And I put these in here to add a little privacy. I knew they were going to get maybe about 5 to 6 feet tall, and they've done just that. They've done exactly what I wanted them to do. So when you come around here, you'd have a little privacy. You can see that they are as tall or taller than me through here, and these leaves are going to turn yellowish in the fall, and in winter when they fall off, we'll have some amazing yellow stems in here. Okay, back here we've got our crepe myrtle. You can see that the flowers on it are spent, but you can see now also that the foliage is starting to turn a maroon, dark reddish kind of color, which adds a lot of color to your garden in fall. And back here we put in an oak leaf hydrangea that is starting to, you can see on the tips, these giant leaves are starting to change colors, and it should turn to a nice reddish orange color as well. So you put these two together, you got a lot of nice color back here in our garden. There's one more thing I wanted to show you before we move on, and that is our tiger eye sumac that we have here. So this is the first year we had this plant. We bought it. Basically, this stem is how it looked when we got it, and this is what has grown on it. I'm not too impressed with that. I thought we were going to get a lot more growth. Maybe next year, I'm not sure. It took a long time for this growth to even occur, but it'll look nice in fall because, as you can see, it's starting to change color. You can look down here on the bottom stems and you can start seeing this orange. So this will be a splash of orange as well in the fall. Okay, I'm standing in our arbor, and this is the first year our arbor has really reached the top. And we have a clematis growing on here along with a rose. And the rose has really done well this year. This is a David Austin rose called Strawberry Hill. And you can see that it is still blooming and still putting out flowers. Looks great. As long as this side can catch up soon. So this one is up to here. You can see it's getting some rose hips on it up here. I'd like this to get up to about here so these two could meet, and maybe next year. Okay, I'm hiding behind our hydrangea tree, but that's not the thing I want to talk about right now. I do want to talk about this coral berry that is right in front of me. Actually, there's two of them, and you can see how pretty they are when their berries start to form, and they have that nice pinkish white color on them. In our last video, Kristen mentioned our durantas that we have, and this is the other one that we have. They are not hardy here, but they sure do add a lot of color and brighten up your garden. This one is not growing as much as the one we have in the other part of the garden, but it still looks really nice. Okay, so as we head back through here, I do want to point out I still have some sunflowers in here that I planted that hopefully will grow. They look like they're doing pretty good. We're going to take a walk around this corner here, and I want to talk about this little section that we are working on now. I took out the path that was through here, the garden path, and I'm putting in some different stones that wind through here. And we still are not absolutely sure on what we're going to do here. There's a chance we're going to put a little bench in here. But we did put in some new plants here. We put in about 5 or 6, but I want to talk about a couple of them. So the first one I want to talk about is this deer villa here. This deer villa is called a Kodiak black deer villa. For most of the year, this plant has reddish foliage, and it even gets more intense in fall. It's really a nice looking plant. We have 2 deer villa now, and I'll show you the other one in a little bit. Over to the left here, we have our hot lip salvia, and this salvia is a zone 8 salvia, but it made it through our winter last year. You can see why it's called hot lips, because of the little red lipstick that each of the flowers wear. So we have our deer villa, then we have the hot lips that I mentioned, and in between it here, I can't go without talking about this zinnia that Kristen grew from seed, and it is so happy here. You can see all of the blooms. This is just one plant I have it staked up to keep from falling over, but it just keeps producing flowers. It's amazing. I think it should win an award. Behind the zinnia, we have a bit of a forest of hardy mums that are going to come into bloom and make this area just a sea of color. Now, as we move down this path, I want to talk about this plant that is right in front of me, and this is a Caryopteris, and it is a white Caryopteris. I'm really excited about white Caryopteris. You don't see them too often. It's been growing in the garden for a few months. We did move it a couple days ago to this location, and it looks like it hasn't missed a beat. So it looks great. Okay, this little section of our garden is looking very nice as well. Starting with our Black Dragon Cryptomeria, which is very happy after we put it in. It looks great. I have a sunflower right in front of me that I have staked up. It's going to look wonderful. Right here we have some celosia that adds a lot of color to this with this buddleia behind it. It's a tricolor buddleia, and this is real happy. This is its first year, looking really good. And over here we have our other Duranta that Kristen had talked about, and I just poked myself with it because it has these really long needles on them. Here's one right here, just to show you. So beware of those, but they look great. I don't know if it's going to flower. It's supposed to get bluish or purplish flowers on it, but I don't know if that's going to happen with us, but it still looks nice. All right, we're getting close to the end. I want to talk about right now, this is one of our most colorful spots right now as we move into October. And this little raised bed area has lots of annuals blooming in it, begonias, impatiens. We have African daisies in here. We have verbena in here. We have in the middle here this St. John's wort. And the St. John's wort, little seed heads are going to be turning orange, which is exciting. We have our butterfly bush in front of it that is going crazy, adding color. We still have poppies blooming. Over on this side, we have our yuccas that look wonderful. We still have our strawberry plant still producing strawberries. Here's one right now. I think I'll take that. So I did tell you that we had another deer villa or bush honeysuckle in our garden, and that is this one right here. The name of it escapes me right now, but it is golden, and in the fall it starts to turn orange, and it also has little yellow flowers on it as well. This is really pretty and probably my favorite of the two. As we come around here, we start to see some of our coneflowers in our Rudbeckia. And the coneflowers are starting to get to the end of their bloom cycle. But you can still see that they are shooting out a couple here and there. And this one looks like it's going to have another. This was a really nice one this year. It really bloomed pretty much all summer. As we move back here, we have our Prairie Sun Rudbeckia that is pretty much done for the year. And this Cappuccino Rudbeckia next to it is still producing blooms. Pretty much an award winner, I think, this year. Still new flowers coming out, even at this late date. As we come down our little coneflower row here, you can still see that this particular one is still producing flowers while this one is not. I decided to leave this one be. It actually does look like it might have a few more flowers, but I've let this one go to seed, and the goldfinches have been all over it lately. So I have to be careful over here because we have these little self-seeded celosia from last year that came back, and this one is actually growing out of its little pen. It looks pretty happy, and you can see back here a couple others that came back from last year. And they are living happily underneath our bird bath in the shadow of our Mexican petunia, which is growing like wildfire here. I do have it staked up. And I know that in other parts of the country, this can be a very invasive plant, but it is living happily in its little quarantined area right here for us by the bird bath and looks wonderful. And there's one more plant I almost forgot about that we got to take a look at. So it's back here, and it is another mum, and it is our cheerleader mum that has these wonderful pom-poms. It blooms to an enormous size. You can see my hand here. They are almost as big as my hand, and we have them throughout here. They are winding their way through. They can grow up to 3 feet tall, and they find their way to the sunlight. We have so many more. You can see here, there are a lot through here. There are some back here, and we're going to have all kinds of pom-poms blooming back here pretty soon. Okay, so there you go. That was our October garden walkthrough. I want to thank everybody for joining us on here. Please subscribe, and also subscribe on Instagram. That is the Garden Fix 2022 on Instagram if you haven't already. Please like and comment. Please do that. I'll try to get back to anybody who comments. And until next time, guys, I'll see you in the garden.